This is TNC Movie Nights.
I'm on both screens.
It's wild. Alex is here in person today. It's gonna be a fun time, man. I'm so excited. This was kind of surreal. Like when you walked in the door today, I was like, wow, this is happening.
Hi, buddy.
Yeah. It's been what, like 2 years?
Yeah, almost 2 years. 2 years in September was the last time I was here.
Yeah, for the draft, and I think you left like what, the day after?
Pretty much. Yeah.
That's wild. So yeah, I've been closing up on 2 years at this point since I've seen Alex in person. Now I get to see him on one screen, two screen, and behind me.
Hi.
We're talking today movies that are nostalgic, movies that, bring back good memories, the feel-goods. It doesn't have to be the best movies ever. Some of these might be some, like, top-tier movies for us. I'm sure we'll bring up some movies that we really do love. But before we get into it, Alex, how has the journey back been to Illinois?
It's been fun, man. I mean, we've been very isolated all the way across the country for almost 2 years now. And pretty much everyone we know, friends and family-wise, have been here. And that wasn't going to be the plan. We were going to move, visit, all that jazz. And then COVID hit, and we were like, uh-oh. So we can't see anybody now. And it's not over, obviously, but we both have been double vaccinated, and it's been, like, all of the precautions, all of that jazz. So we feel comfortable now, like, actually seeing our friends and family and being like, hey, we miss you guys. So it's fun to be back.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, it was weird because we were so planned like last year that we were going to see you, I think, September time, because we had that whole like casino thing that we were all going to do and stuff. You were supposed to be here for the draft and that. And of course, the world broke. So it's definitely good. You get to come back for a bit and then heading back down to Tennessee.
Yep. Got to finish out that van.
Yep, and then just traveling the world, traveling the United States at least, from my knowledge. So, I forget. Do you plan on going overseas, right?
Yeah, we're gonna do another trip over there again for sure. I don't know when.
It sounded like you're going back to Iraq or something. yeah, we're doing another trip back overseas.
Yeah, not for any like tour of duty or anything, just to like see stuff and have fun and see all the fun jazz and all that, But I don't know when, I don't know where. So definitely the United States first, and then we'll see what happens from there if the world is even open by then.
No, fair. Last question for you, I guess, before we get into nostalgic movies. Are you planning on seeing, like, every state? Is that, like, a goal for you guys? Like, when you want to at least go through all 50 states? Or 48 land states?
It was at first, and I'm not going to name names here, because I don't want to, like, upset anyone if they're watching this from a different state. Not now, obviously, all of our viewers are friends, but who knows, maybe one day. But there are some states that we either drove through at some point or have looked at and went, hard pass, no thank you. So we're going to see most states, and we're going to see like a ton of the national parks too, so that's going to dictate a lot of where we're going.
Yeah. Not bad. That's definitely exciting. It'll be nice to experience new things, really just kind of engulf yourself in the world. But speaking...
The whole world, except Oklahoma, looking at you.
Dang.
I said it. What's up?
He wasn't going to bring up states, but, now he's going to.
Okay is not okay. It sucked.
It sucked.
Right in the eyes. I'm not even going to glance over at Brandon's screen. Oklahoma. Not a fan. Sorry. Nostalgic movies. Happy times.
Yeah, we're talking about, you traveling the world, experiencing new things. Now let's talk about things that we've loved, we've experienced, and we want to keep experiencing. Good old nostalgic movies.
Yes.
There are so many. Like I was just sitting down today and I was really just thinking, I'm glad you got a list. I started a list when I was working. I got too busy today, so I didn't get to actually get down a full list. But I know a lot of them are just really just gonna be easy for me to talk about. I want to start it with. We'll kind of just mention the review we'll talk about in a moment. But Alex and we became friends because of baseball. We're on the same baseball team for like 2-3 years, I want to say, and then we met up in high school. We were friends ever since, so it's been, 11 years now, 10, 11 years, yeah, because I moved here in 2010, I want to say. So.
Yeah, it was the summer before my sophomore year, which was the summer before your freshman year, right?
Yeah, wow. Exactly. So it's been 11 years now, and it started with baseball, and that's kind of where I want to start this today. For me, one of the most nostalgic movies is actually Rookie of the Year.
Nice.
It's a Cubs movie. We're both Cubs fans.
Big time.
And it was like, it's like the one movie or one kind of experience we got to have pre, what, 2016, 2017?
Yep.
Yeah. That we got to be happy as a Cubs fan was watching a Cubs movie, because prior to that, there was just nothing. So being a huge Cubs fan, being a big baseball fan, and then loving movies where like kids are like as great as adults, Rookie of the Year was just fantastic to always watch. That's one of those movies I can always just throw in, no matter what mood I'm in, just to kind of go back, enjoy, just remember being 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13 years old watching baseball movies.
Yeah, man. That movie is so dumb, but it is so fun.
Such a stupid concept, but it is so fun. It's just that enjoyable, like getting to be 10 years old watching another, like I think, I don't know, he's like 13 in the movie, getting to be in the majors, being like, I want to be like that someday. And it's just, it's cool getting to see just that kind of wild, ridiculous, impossible story.
Yeah, I always loved the, like, near the end, too, and it's like his mom doing the, like, the softball style pitch sort of thing, and that's what, like, oh my god, it saved the day sort of thing. It's it's just an absolute Kraft Singles cheese fest, but it is so fun, and it's so dumb. It's just a happy movie.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And Alex, I don't know if you want to bring up the one we'll be actually reviewing, well, that we already watched, but we'll be reviewing in, I don't know, 25 minutes, whenever this is done.
Yeah, I mean, I think the other classic for us, for sure, is The Sandlot. That movie, man. Oh, it is just full. It's like, it's the perfect combination of, like, quotable and, like, feel good, and it's funny, and, you know, you get a little bit of the feels in there. It's just so much fun to watch. It never gets old for me. I don't know about you, but I can watch that thing 1,000 times.
I 100% agree there. It's shocked me that I don't think it made my top 5 favorite movies. It was one of those movies when I was doing it, I'm like, oh, Sandlot, this definitely is going to be in there. And I think it was my honorable mention that we did. I can't really remember. I'm sure we'll do another one of those when we hit our year, and we'll like maybe have different movies in there. Yeah. But Sandlot is one of my favorite movies of all time. Sport movies, I think it is probably my favorite. Just, it's like a kind of little bit of a cheese fest, kind of like Rookie of the Year, but it's also a great movie. Yeah. Where Rookie of the Year, like, I can agree and say, like, it's not a very good movie. I'm sure Rotten Tomatoes, I would probably bet it's like a 20% maybe. Where Sandlot's probably like in the 90s or maybe 80s. So it is, people can agree that it's a great movie. My girlfriend doesn't care for sports, but she loves Sandlot. So everyone can just enjoy it. Yeah,
even if you don't love it, you're at least like, oh, this is fun. This is nice. You know, it's never, like, I can't speak for everyone, but I don't think there's a person out there that's like, ugh, this movie. It's not like Elf, where one of us is like, this is great, and the other one's like, this is the worst movie ever. You're like, oh, Sandlot, cool.
Yeah, and there's a lot to the movie that, like, I'm really excited to talk about when we get to the review, so I'm going to save it for that. But yeah, it is just a good time. That's the first movie that pops up in my head with nostalgic. Mm-hmm. It's just playing baseball all the time growing up. That is a movie I always went to. Yeah, being a Cubs fan, Rookie of the Year was a very close second, but yeah, huge fan. But I kind of started out with the baseball movies. Are there any other movies that you want to kind of jump into from sports, from baseball, or where else does it kind of maybe take you? Well,
I mean, yeah, there are a bunch of good ones, and we kind of touched on all of them in our sports movie episode where we talked about all the favorites and all of our favorites from our childhood. But one that I'm surprised wasn't the first one that you thought of is something that we have talked about many times, and that's pretty much like the whole like golden era of the Sandlerverse. It's like the golden age when we were growing up with like Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, Mr. Deeds. That was prime Sandler. And I really like those movies. I don't love Adam Sandler as much as you do. I don't maybe hold those in as high of like a regard as you do, but also I totally like those movies, and they're super fun, and they remind me of like being a kid, and half the time, you know, you get home from school, there's none of your favorite shows on, you're like, oh, but the Water Boy is on TNT or whatever. You're like, okay, I guess we'll watch this. And it was just one of those, that's another sort of like, oh, this is fun, let's put this on, you know?
Do you have a favorite Sandlerverse movie? Because mine, it's easy for me. Billy Madison, that is my go-to. They're all great. Mr. Deeds is fun. Waterboy, Happy Gilmore. You know, there's a lot of other really good Sandlerverse movies.
Billy Madison
does
really,
it for me.
really, really good. I think that's like a 1A, but I think my favorite is Happy Gilmore. I really, really like Happy Gilmore.
I need to go back and watch Happy Gilmore. It's probably been about 5 years,
So
but it is it's so fun.
Oh, yeah.
Such a fun movie.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And then another sort of like, I mean, there's a weird connection, but like they both share the SNL connection, and then establishing universes after that. I'm a sucker for the Austin Powers movies. I always have been. I always will be. I understand they're stupid. I understand they're outdated. I understand some of the jokes aren't as funny as they were before. Not in like a, we thought it was fun to be racist back then kind of way. But I mean, I need to rewatch those. Maybe there are a couple points like that. But it's just dumb. I get it. But my God, is it entertaining for me. It is so fun and funny. And it's one of the most quotable series of all time. It's like the whole trilogy all the way through. Even though some of the jokes are reused from 1, 2, and 3, I don't care. I just don't. It just makes me happy to watch them. And it got me through college. Not all of it. I didn't finish. But it got me through the time that I was there.
I didn't make it, but I feel like maybe that says something about the movies then.
Yeah, you know, they were the DVD player for a month and it didn't last much longer than they did.
Oh, man.
And, well, yeah. Yeah. I made it almost to the end of year 3. No, I didn't.
it's
I'm going way off course with this.
Yeah, no,
this is about
it's
Austin Powers.
It's all right. But yeah, I mean, there are like another one I kind of want to bring up from Adam Sandler, Austin Powers type of stuff is Jim Carrey movies. They're all like, some of them are so stupid, like Dumb and Dumber, and I love Ace Ventura, mainly the first one. The second one's still really good as well. Oh my goodness, I can't think of the other Jim Carrey.
Liar.
Thank you, Liar.
That might be my favorite of the bunch.
Liar is really good. I think
The
that
Mask.
Ace Ventura, The Mask, of course.
Golden era, man.
Yeah,
The golden age of physical comedy.
They just really bring it back because all those movies were self-aware, and I think that's kind of what really takes it away from like movies today. It's just they're just trying to be too goofy, but also having like a really serious plot or like a love connection.
Yeah.
Where The Mask was just so over the top, so was Ace Ventura, and then any Adam Sandler movie, just all those were really, really great on how they just realized it.
We got really lucky, man. And I know you could say this about like every generation, about like how many classics and how many, you know, fan favorites came out at the time, or how many universes were created. And I'm not even going to talk about like the MCU or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you think about it, we grew up when Lord of the Rings came out. We grew up with Harry Potter. Like, the kids were our age when it started, and they were our age when it ended. Like, we grew up with that series. Maybe not the books, but the movies for sure. And I mean, there are people who are, I'm sure, are nostalgic about like Twilight and stuff like that. It came out when we were a little bit older, but still, you know, you look back and you're like, oh my God, all these series that came out, this and that, and the list goes on and on and on and on and on. We got really lucky with a lot of like very, very long series that we got to grow with. I mean, even like something dumb, or not, maybe not dumb, but something, you know, not on the scale of like a Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings, but like Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah. I mean, I loved those. I used to go to the midnight showings with those.
Oh,
for those. And it was
yeah.
so much fun. It's just, we got really lucky.
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely agree, because all of those, I mean, even having like Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, and then I know Fantastic Beasts don't do as well now, but yeah, just Harry Potter and that, all the Marvel movies still, if DC ever, you know, kicks it into full gear, we really have gotten lucky from like the golden age of the slapstick comedy. I mean, I know people can say like, you know, Abbott and Costello was like the golden age.
Right.
Fine, I can get that. But that's really, I feel like, all there was. Like, Abbott and Costello was like,
maybe.
Yeah, that was like the key. But in the 90s, Adam Sandler, Jim Carrey, Mike Myers, and I know Chris Farley. I mean, that's more Saturday Night Live.
Will
but there
Ferrell
is,
throwing his hat in there too.
yeah, Will Ferrell was like late 90s, and yeah, we did get really lucky with all the different generations of stuff. Because I mean, yeah, the people growing up now who are 10, 11, they probably aren't watching Adam Sandler. You know, their parents maybe just aren't into it and stuff like that. They might not be as lucky to kind of watch those, where we just grew up on those. So,
We also got, speaking of golden ages, we literally got the golden age of Disney, who, now they own the whole world. I mean, like 75% of the movies have some tie to Disney at this point, it seems like. But not long before we were born, Disney almost didn't exist. Like, they almost went bankrupt.
Yeah.
And then go from a little before we're kids, you get stuff like The Little Mermaid and The Lion King and Hercules and Aladdin, and then Pixar came on the scene with Toy Story, and it blew up. And then holy crap, there's Disney is a mega company now. Pixar, under the Disney brand, is a mega company. DreamWorks threw their hat in the ring with stuff like Shrek and Road to El Dorado, and we got to the point where even like the quote unquote flops of Disney, like Atlantis and Treasure Planet and stuff like that, they're still cult classics. And the golden age hit so hard that it took movies from the dark ages and made them cult classics. Like The Black Cauldron almost bankrupt Disney, and now people look back on it like a forgotten gem of love. And we were right in the middle of that. We grew up as they were really exploding in the animated business, right? And now they're, like I said, they own everything.
Yeah, no, it is really cool to kind of get to see I kind of want to say like the fall to the rise of Disney, because maybe they were like on the rise to the fall and then back to the rise. I don't really know how Disney was like in the 80s, if it was, there's no way it was as popular as it was like in the early 2000s, but no. It was really cool to get to see that, and them getting to take over. I mean, I know Disney owning everything maybe isn't great for the movie organization in the long run, but they make things succeed, and that's the really cool part. I mean, maybe outside of Star Wars, Disney has done everything perfectly with almost every movie franchise so far. I knew there was going to be one that I was like, there's got to be something that Disney's messed up, and I'm like, Star Wars is probably the only one I can really think on at the moment. But yeah, I mean, even growing up, I wasn't the biggest like Disney and Pixar person, but there were some great movies that really did kind of hit still. Like Bug's Life for me, I really love Bug's Life, and Toy Story is just great. I mean, the first three, I've never seen the fourth one. I think there's only 4 out. But yeah, I mean, DreamWorks, Pixar, Disney, they all just really killed it in the early 2000s.
Yeah, man, Finding Nemo, Monsters Inc.
Yeah,
still
Monsters
slaps.
Inc. Yeah, 100%. And it does kind of suck, though. We're kind of in that point, though, where we're seeing them try to bring back that magic of, like, just redoing those movies. I think there's, like, a Cars 4 coming out soon.
God, I don't even know
Shrek
Cars
5 coming out again. And I think there's another Monster Inc. in the work.
Is there really?
I could have sworn there was. I know we had University back in, like, 2012 or something like that. And that's what kind of sucks. Like, we're also kind of seeing the age of Pixar and Disney, where it's like, remember that thing that worked because we can't think of anything else new? Let's reach and try to do it again.
Not forgotten, but 15-year-old movies getting sequels, and the fan favorites turning into live actions that don't succeed as well.
Yeah, stuff like Shrek, who had too many sequels, now getting another sequel. And part of it does kind of suck. I mean, at least we still have like Marvel stuff like that. But
Sure.
What's another kind of area of nostalgic movies? We've talked about some old sport movies. We've talked about the golden age of like slapstick, and then kind of the rebirth of Disney. What's kind of that next area that is kind of that nostalgia for you?
I think that kind of belongs in movies that we talk about all the time, and those are movies that like were so quotable and that we loved as kids that we kind of go, yikes, but I still love you for what you were. And the fallback for this is Master of Disguises. That movie sucks so bad, and we need to review it for this show
100%.
Because I need to watch it again, and I have to have a reason, otherwise I won't, because last time I tried I couldn't make it. But oh my god, I have vivid memories of like me and my cousin hanging out, just crying laughing at that movie, and then quoting it pretty much our entire childhood. I said this before, I'll say it again. Anyone in their early to mid 20s, you can't go turtle without them being like, oh yeah, turtle. Like, it's just what you do because of that movie. And it's that sort of that like group of like terrible, but we were the perfect age at the time type movies, so we love them. I can't really think. Are there any others that are like that specific that you can think of? Because I mean, we talked about it with like Son of the Mask and stuff like that, but that movie is just bad.
Yeah. Oh, that's a really good question. I'll keep thinking about it, but there's really nothing that pops up in my head.
While you think about that, I have another question for you.
Yeah.
Is there a movie out there that is like weirdly nostalgic for you, which not like it maybe not necessarily should be, but for one reason or another it is? If you need to think on it, go for it.
One of them for me, I think, is The Dark Knight.
Okay.
And I know that like it is a little bit older. I mean, that's only like 13 maybe years old. I think it was 2008.
Sounds about right.
And the reason it's like, for me it's so nostalgic, yeah, like it did, kind of bring the boom back for DC, I'm sure, for a lot of people. For me though, it got me into wanting to do like voice acting stuff, and that's what kind of pushed me to get into radio and broadcasting. Just because the Joker, like every 15-year-old boy was wanting to imitate the Joker. I'm sure everyone has their own Joker impression of it.
And some people still are doing that.
Yeah. And there's some people make a living off of it on TikTok, man. I've seen some really good ones that are just wild out there.
More power to you.
Yeah. And I think that's one of them for me. Like, that's... If I'm ever, like, just kind of not feeling it, I'll throw that movie on, and that's, like... The movie's just so good, and it made me love Batman, because growing up I didn't care for Batman that much. So that's one movie I always just kind of go back to if I'm just like, I don't know, I don't want to say just having a bad day, but just kind of like, kind of in a funk. I'll just like throw on that movie, and it just makes me feel good, because I'm just like, I remember being 15, just sitting there trying to do the impression all the time, and then just some really cool moments, again, that made me just really love Batman myself. So The Dark Knight's definitely one of those for me, though.
Okay. For me, I have this weird love of the movie Gladiator. Okay. And it's a great movie. It made my top 5 for a reason. It's so damn good. But I remember, like, every time I would go to my dad's house, that was my favorite movie that he had. And other than, like, Pirates of the Caribbean later on, there wasn't really much in his DVD collection that I cared for other than that. And so I remember, like, if I like went downstairs or something and Master and Commander was on, I would be like, whatever, I'll go figure out something to do in my room. But if Gladiator was on, I was like, oh, movie time. And I would just sit on the couch and I'd watch Gladiator, because that movie rocks. It's awesome. And it has that, like, I've always loved it from when I saw it as probably a little bit too young of a little kid to now it hasn't really ever left my top 5 favorite movies. So I just love that one. And going back to, I just thought of some more of those terrible movies that we love and will sometimes defend to a fault. And that's when they did the live-action ScoobyDoo movie with like Freddie Prinze Jr. and Matthew Lillard.
Yes.
I bought those on Vudu recently because how could you not? And they are so bad, but they are so good. That like, I just seeing like Matthew Lillard play Shaggy, you're like, yeah, that'll do. That'll do. That's like right under watching the original Scooby-Doo's. Also got those on Vudu. It's like you watch those, then you watch the live actions, and you're like, things are right in the world. This is great. I'm transported back to being like 8 years old. And you're just like, things are nice and things are good and there's no bad news outside. COVID doesn't exist. We don't watch the news. This is just Scooby freaking Doo.
I did just think of 2 more, and it kind of references back to the ones that are like, what, again, are they just nostalgic to you sort of thing? Mm-hmm. And I have 2, 100%. The first one, Matilda. Have you ever seen that movie?
Not in a long time, but I know Sahara, I think it's that one.
Love the movie Matilda, and then the other one I want to bring up is Parent Trap.
Oh, yeah.
Another one. I just remember being like, I don't know, 10 years old, just watching both of those on repeat. I loved both of those so much.
See, here's the problem with when we do shows like this, is we talk like this for like a half an hour, and then as soon as we're done recording, I'm like, oh my god, how did I not mention X, Y, and Z movie? How did I forget, like, my favorite movie as a kid? How did I forget to mention Scooby-Doo Cyber Chase?
That is the best Scooby-Doo movie. I don't care what anyone says.
You know what? Zombie Island is better, but Cyber Chase is more fun. I'm sorry, the Zombie Land. Although I did just download Terror Time again to my Spotify playlist, and I have not been regretting it. So points to you, Zombie Island. But I love Cyber Chase, and it's stuff like that where you're like, oh my god, how could I not mention that? How did I not mention my favorite movie? I'm a fraud. But there's just so many, and they hit such weird places when you're not even thinking, and then you just see like a DVD cover or a VHS cover, or you hear a line and you're like, oh yeah, that movie, and it just makes you smile, and you're like, good times.
I have two more I want to bring up because I know for sure I would be upset if I didn't, just for what you said. Land Before Time is definitely one of them, and oh my goodness, I just lost what the other one was. Big
water. That's from the second one. I love that one with Chomper.
Oh my god, Chomper, dude.
Littlefoot.
Oh, Littlefoot. So adorable.
God, I used to love Land Before Time.
Oh my
and I
goodness,
love the Rugrats too.
It's gonna kill me now. I think I just lost what the other one was.
Oh no.
I gotta go back to the last webpage I was on because something triggered it for me. I don't think I was actually seeing the movie, but it was definitely something.
God, and I just vaguely mentioned Rugrats, but I remember seeing that.
Homeward Bound.
Homeward Bound. That's a good one. That's a good one.
I'm good
How
now.
about... Okay, this is really going deep, and I don't know if you were a Disney Channel kid. They were like my third or fourth channel to go to. But some of those like Disney Channel original movies, like with the 13th year where the dude turns into a dolphin, or not a dolphin, into a merman, or Smart House.
So I do. Okay, Smart House. I remember. The other one, very vaguely.
I got two for you, and I know you know these because we talk about them. One for sure.
Holes.
Oh my God, Holes! I forgot about Holes.
I was trying to guess what you were gonna say, but
no,
Shia LaBeouf.
I should have remembered.
I love
Holes.
Shia LaBeouf.
I was thinking of Clock Stoppers because that movie is legit, and that was the first one that was like, I want that. That is like a superpower / tech device that is so cool where you just hit the button on your watch and it stops time, and it was like that feeling that all of us, nerds had when we saw Quicksilver do that slow-mo scene in the kitchen. It was that for the whole movie, but to like a 9-year-old brain, and it just blew my freaking mind. And then the other one, Sky High.
I was just gonna bring that up. Yep. Sky High, 100%.
Sky High. Oh.
I literally just looked up superhero Disney movies.
Oh my God, that movie, man.
Gosh.
Sidekick. So
there's another superhero Disney movie. I think it was Disney.
And
I can't remember what it was though.
Oh my God.
I remember it was like a family of superheroes that all lived like on a spaceship or something.
Was that like Xena? Xenon something?
That might be it. No, it's not Xenon. No, not Xenon. No, Xenon was Girl of the 21st Century.
That was it.
No, I'm thinking it's like, oh my goodness.
And there's Phil of the Future. That's not a movie. That's a TV show. That was my jam.
Oh my goodness.
That was on after that. So Raven, I remember.
What was this? I'm gonna have to try to figure it out. And I'm gonna be so mad when I don't say it on the show.
We're gonna stop recording, and right before we start this handling, you're gonna be like, I remember.
No, you're gonna be home. It'll be 3 a.m. You're going to bed already, and I text you or call you. I remember the movie.
Just sweating. Haven't slept since then. Twitchy eye. I found it.
I wouldn't be surprised, honestly.
God.
This is gonna kill me. I want to do one last thing. Disney Channel.
TikTok.
Superhero.
We're running out of time here. This episode's almost over.
I know, it's already 30 minutes. It's crazy. Oh, no.
Are we going to have to tell the people where they can find us before he finds the
so.
movie?
I think so.
Oh, no.
Why does Xena pop up right away? The funny thing is, it's a big actor who's like the dad in the movie.
Speaking of big actors, oh my god. We talked about him before. Brendan Fraser. Holy crap.
Dudley Do Right.
George of the Jungle.
Yes,
The
George of
Mummy.
Jungle.
Looney Tunes back in action. That man made some hits in the early 2000s and in the late 90s. Holy Brendan. My man.
I'm sorry to do this. The 13th year was the one you were thinking of with the mermaid.
That's what I said with the 13th year where he turns 13, he starts growing scales and gills and...
So it didn't click with me until I just saw the photo of it.
That makes sense.
But yeah, Brendan Fraser, we've talked about him before. We love the actor so much. We've done the review of The Mummy, and Brendan Fraser is fantastic.
Check out Doom Patrol if you haven't. He kills it in that. Plus, it's nerd stuff, so I don't feel bad about playing it.
Yeah, 100%. Doom Patrol, check it out. It's awesome.
Plus, Alan Tudyk.
Alan Tudyk's incredible in that show.
Everyone's amazing in it, but yeah, God, I love him. Plus, we always got to shout out voice actors, and technically, Brendan Fraser in that one is a voice actor. So, boom, bang. Any luck? I've run out of things to stall with.
I'm just upset now. I'm so sad.
No. What was it about?
It's literally about like a family of people who get superpowers, and then they have to learn how to be a superhero from an actual superhero. And I remember like they're all on a spaceship together or something, and it's actually like a relatively like decently big actor who is like the main person. And it's killing me right now. I don't know why I'm thinking Robin Williams, but it's definitely not Robin Williams. It's someone that looks like him.
Someone who looks like Robin Williams. It's like Mork and Mindy meets Third Rock.
For some reason, I feel like it's Kurt Russell, but I know he was in Sky High.
Oh yeah, he was in Sky High. Oh, I always forget that he's in Sky High. Like they got some pull to get Kurt Russell in Sky High.
Yeah.
What were they doing?
Damn, I give up. It's all right.
I'm sorry to do this to you.
Yeah.
Brandon, tell the people where they can find us.
The people, you can find us one simple, nice place, thenerdchambers.com. All of our shows go on there. And, you know, if there's any other content that ever happens with us, it's also on there, too. But a lot of TNC Movie Night stuff. And if you want to get to know more about Alex or myself, go ahead and go on there for Meet the Team. Go join the Discord. If you want, you can support the show by getting some merch. TNC Penguin, we got the Nerd Chambers right back there with Alex. We also have some really cool stuff on there as well for TNC Otter or just TNC Movie Night stuff. If you want to reach out to us, let us know what we should review. Let us know on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or if you're weird, email tncmovienights@gmail.com. Let us know what you'd like to hear from us for a upcoming review or possibly just an episode topic, something like this, nostalgic movies, or maybe just talking about an actor for 30 minutes and you just really don't like that actor or you really like him. Let us know.
We're good
Tim Allen
either
episode,
way.
we're coming.
Oh, man. I cannot wait till we just get to rip into Tim Allen. He sucks.
We'll do it. We'll do it eventually, I'm sure. But yeah, that's gonna be it for us today for nostalgic movies. And again, Alex is literally right behind me today. It's wild. His screen didn't freeze because he's on my internet today, and we're actually not really on the internet right now, so it works out pretty well.
How does that work?
Yeah, it's just what is it called?
Oh, because we're not streaming. Because I'm an idiot. We're just recording. Because that's how that works.
Exactly. We're just
See
recording
how much
the
I do
screen.
behind the scenes here. I just make noise and go while he's doing stuff, and then sometimes it makes the blooper episode, so I feel like I'm accomplishing something.
There you go. Yeah, and you might see some funny stuff at the end of this episode. So
Actually,
no, it'll be at the end of next episode for the review. So not only do you have to go watch your Sandlot review that's coming out, go watch the end credits scene of that. It's going to be a lot of fun. So that's going to do it for us today. We'll see you for Sandlot review.